It's always good to share news, isn't it? I always find these sort of things fascinating, particularly when certain companies have spent so much money on promoting certain things, the sort of thing I mean. When you look at Meghan Markle's Netflix show, the 8-part series is not coming cheap. And it's beautifully shot, I can tell you, as a person who works in television. There will be a lot of lights, a lot of editing, a lot of colour correction. And when Meghan's on, she looks whiter than Snow White. What's happened to the 43% Nigerian look? That seems to have gone by the by, doesn't it? But as everybody's waiting with bated breath for the 15th of January for this particular series, as the kids say I say released, they say drop. What was fascinating was this late insert behind the scenes. Let me explain. Morning, good to see you. Thank you so much on a drizzly, damp, miserable day here in the very heart of London. Lovely to have your company, and as ever, thank you so much for joining me. What I find fascinating about this is, as I say, you look at the company, and I can only tell you what I can see. They've spent a fortune on this. It's not a cheap affair. Of course, I don't really understand why Netflix would go down this route, because there's so many daytime cookery shows, lifestyle tip shows, that sort of stuff. Why do we need another? If you watch any daytime segment, they've got something about flower arranging, cake decoration, normally done by professionals, not done by an out-of-work jobbing actress. You get the picture. But moving forward, this inclusion was fascinating because this came to Meghan apparently in a flash. Oh yes, this one, you know the one I mean? That's right, the one with beekeeping. Now, according to the source, the reason why Meghan suddenly was inspired by this particular thing of beekeeping was simply the fact that she wanted to show sort of, the organic sort of manifestation of what you can do with things that are made naturally. No, it's nothing to do with His Majesty the King. It's nothing to do with Catherine, the Princess of Wales. This was an absolute slapback to the latest hobby that in fact has ensured a very close relationship with His Majesty the King and of course the former international footballer David Beckham. You see, they bonded over that after David gave him a jar of his homemade honey. Well received apparently too. And Meghan figured that, actually, how is this a premise of just one person? Now, she's not a beekeeper. She's never mentioned honey before. But then she went to Netflix and they said, well, sure, yeah, if that's what you want to do. They, of course, had no idea the sort of underlined real reason as to why Meghan had decided she wanted to keep this in. But as we all know, she spectacularly fell out with David and Victoria, making Harry make sure that he wasn't allowed to speak to them, even though he schlepped all the way over to Australia. This is Meghan's revenge, and it comes, sickly sweet, as some people might say. So if you're wondering why suddenly she's interested in bees, remember, they come with an almighty sting, and that's exactly what Meghan Markle had hoped to do with the two people that are now rivals on Netflix. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.